Game on, ladies and gentlemen. Another best of one at the Ryzing Star Cup number 6. Sonik to the top left of Terra's stand. We're actually in round 4 right now. Once that we're heading into the quarterfinals, we're going to begin with the best of 3 series. But for the time being, we're still looking at best of 1 matches in the open tournament. And Sonik starting in yellow to the top left and all the way down to the bottom right. His human opponent is already spawning here. Definitely a very cheery fella. So, yeah, should be. I mean, honestly, so far we had incredible games from the first round, which was pretty awesome. Taker against Terra was fun in and of itself. Pretty nice fight over at least the expansion attempt of Terra. Quickly turned against Taker then once the tech came through for Terra, but still it was actually a really enjoyable series while it lasted. But as Taker already acknowledged immediately during the lobby, he was a bit outmatched there. But now we're going into Sonic's game and see how he can actually face off against LOOOOOL here in the Nightelf versus Human match. But once we go into the quarterfinals, there's actually a couple of really interesting pairings that we could run into. Happy at this point, as you would expect, is crushing through the bracket, as do several others of the top players. Warden first now for Sonik. Alright, let's see what he can pull off with that. The Ukrainian player definitely trying to crush it a little bit. Forward farm already, trying to check that out. And yeah, pretty happy to see what he can... Like, Wardens, I don't know. Warden is always a love-hate relationship. Watching one that is played on a high level can always be a lot of fun. One that's played against you can always just like... It can cause frustrated streams and people throwing their keyboard or their mouse at the wall. So yeah, that probably happened to a couple of people already. And again, I'm not speaking of personal experience there, but if you've ever seen the QXC StarCraft 2 Rage video, then... you know what I'm talking about. But hey, at least he wrote GG, right? So that's something. Very passionate player. So Lightning Shield gets cast is already being used against the creeps. The Renegade Wizard definitely didn't think that one through. And now that the Warden is in, it's going to be a very quick level 2 for them. Of course, it's also true on the other side, where we have a beginning with the Mountain King against the Nightelf here. Rogue Wizard goes down, Mantle of Intelligence for a little bit more of a mana pool, and the Potion of Invulnerability. Alrighty, to the top. Oh, Potion of Greater Mana plus Gauntlets of Augur Strength. Yeah, and that Shadow Dagger is coming through again. I don't know. The funny thing about Warcraft 3 is that it always looks easy when someone else plays it, and then once that you start playing your own few games again, all of a sudden you have, especially when you're going up against a pro in a tournament, someone that takes you apart with a hero only. It's honestly one of the coolest things that you can do if you participate in one of the open cups, if you are faced off against a pro or a semi-pro, and then all of a sudden realize what kind of a gap there is between you and someone like that. That can be... It can be a little bit humiliating, but at the same time it's also incredible to just see what these people can pull off. We had the same in StarCraft 2, of course, as well. RTS just in general is absolutely incredible. One-on-one in esports is just pretty challenging. And you have to have a really good mindset to be competitive and especially successful with it for it too. But well, enough of that for now. Let's focus a little bit on the match at hand. A little bit more aggression coming in from the Mountain King. We have no level 3 heroes just yet, but the Stormbolt is already hitting hard. No surround attempts in this case. We haven't seen a second talent chosen yet either, so no blink shenanigans, but if there's a surround happening, you can of course always jump away from that. Blacksmith is already in, one base human rifleman strategy again. We've seen that already previously, but we are having heavy aggression right now from the human player, trying to be way more aggressive with this, and the Forest Troll Shadow Priest is immediately taken down. That's obviously someone that you oftentimes try to get to dispel the water elementals from the Archmage. In this case, that logic doesn't really apply, because he started, as mentioned, with the Mountain King here. But this is one of the cool things that you can do on the map, to use those mercenaries in order to get an advantage, the upper hand, over your opponent. Seen the same strategy used against the Nightelf whenever the Keeper comes through, so you can dispel the Entangle. So there's of course all kinds of uses for that. Level 3 on the Mountain King is really not all that far off. And the Warden is still sitting tight here. Running a bit out of mana, but trying to get the extra kills in against those Footman. Hunters are coming out now through. Is it a plane? No, it's Hunters with Unholy Aura speed. At least in the 2-2 setup. But yeah, so the Warden, Sonik is at this point on 27 supply and just trying to distract his opponent as much as he can. Tech in the main base is obviously running, halfway done with that by now. At the bottom right, we're seeing the tech also nearly completed by his opponent. The blacksmith is already in, and he can now start to go for the first couple of units here. Shadow Dagger again, but also another Stormbolt, and therefore another kill against the Archer. So it's all about the experience between the two. And right now, human player is doing a bit of a better job at this. He's nearly on level 3 with it, but the Warden still has that potion of greater mana, which is of course fantastic for her. Uses it, gets another Shadow Dagger through, gets a Stormbolt to the face on the other hand, and that's nearly a kill. Barely getting the town portal through there with 46 HP left. And that's a pretty solid setup here for our player in blue. That's actually looking really solid for him. Down at the bottom of the map, we're now seeing the Blood Mage coming in as the second hero. It's all about the mana. Drain the Warden, pass it over to the Mountain King, let those Stormbolts rip, get a bit of focus fire going after the stun, and you can threaten any unit here. And, depending on how much Sonik invests into Huntress, those unarmored units obviously don't pair really well against Rifleman. So that is definitely a bit of a threat. Warden is now level 3, but that Mountain King is not going to shy away from that comparison. Has already level 3 pretty much at hand. Needs like one more creep anywhere in the map, and he's going to hit that. And yeah, up towards the top. Tech is also completed now for Sonik. So we have him with level 3 on the Warden now. And, well, let's check what we're gonna have from him. I mean, he can, of course, creep a little bit more here. But now the Mountain King is still looking to see where he can finally get the experience for the next level. But with a quick move into the tavern, we could see the second hero coming in for the Warden. And also a little bit more creeping for him. Sonik at this point does only have the Claws of Attack +9 here. No Town Portal left anymore. And there's even more aggression. As the expansion is starting to be built, the human players are simply moving in. He has the perfect timing here. Perfect timing, perfect angle, goes in. Yes, eats the detonate, but still, that's a cancel on the expansion. And that's getting really frustrating for Sonik. There's a huge problem now. Not only is he about to lose some of his production structures here, but he also just lost the expansion attempt, which now means that, oh, yes, the Stormbolt, and as I said, unarmored units don't mesh well against Rifleman. There's only one so far. Bit of a gap is left too. The pressure against the Blood Mage. Clap comes in, and immediately the potion being passed over to the second hero. Another Stormbolt greets the Warden, but we have 39 supply against 40, so it's pretty even numbers for the two of them. There's a lot of damage coming. A good micro from Sonik as he puts the hunt, or gets the hunt moved here, but it seems like the Blood Mage is not going to make it unless he eats that potion. Has used it already. Invulnerable for the time being, but even more aggression towards at least the priests for now. Nothing falling here. Those hunts are really microed incredibly well, but he needs to be careful because he's starting to just drop in HP on all of them. And he won't be able to keep them alive for much longer. Another Rifleman is already there, but that could be the end of the Blood Mage. And the clap slows everybody down once more. Yeah, we have the Shadow Dagger now on level 2. But over here, the fight is still ongoing. And the Demon Hunter comes in as the second hero for a bit more mana burn action. There's the level 3 finally for the Mountain King. Didn't get it through the creeps as I originally thought. Bit of a chase still going on over here. Quick heal from the Priest. That might just be enough to keep him alive. There's not enough mana on the Warden any longer. And Mountain King is also on the run. 35 supply on the human side. And over here, Sorceress coming in too, and right away the slow Sonik paying attention on the other hand, and moves the Warden out, or at least tries to, but there's not going to be any kind of flank coming from the Mountain King since he's already at the bottom left of the map. But yep, Warden eats a couple of shots, but what a nice setup here. Expansion once more thrown in. Sonik is at 40 supply right now against the 38 of his opponent, but a lot of back and forth between the two of them. But all of the hunts are incredibly low. So that's a little bit of a problem right now for him. Well, it could become a problem if he's forced into a fight that he doesn't really want to take here. But not quite sure on that yet. I mean, priests are coming in. There's no Dispel yet either. If you look over to the base, there's another Ancient of Wonders currently being built. We're still having also that Trio of Life putting into action. And of course, that's something that the human already expects. So he's going to try and make another play for that. In the main base, yeah. Talking about him making another play for that, exactly. So getting the militia pushed into this too. And he has a pretty solid setup here, outside of the fact that he doesn't have any consumables. So he doesn't have any additional items to keep the Blood Mage alive if he's getting focused again. There's a quick attack against the Ancient of War, as we are still seeing some creeping going on for Sonik. He himself wants to take the Sasquatch down. Bit more experience would put the Demon Hunter to 2. There we go. Warden is on 4. And of course the access to the shop is something you should never neglect either. Has the Potion of Lesser Invulnerability now. It's kind of important as well. But production structures are slowly falling. And here comes the attack. 49 supply. Human player is going to try and tower it up here a little bit. And on the side of Sonik, we're sitting at 45. So another Wisp goes down. And here we go. First Scout Tower is already being built. Good, nice detonate though. Hitting nearly all the casters. Only the Sorceress was not hit by that. So the Priests are pretty much useless for a couple of seconds. Another one is moving in. And here comes... yeah. Even the illusions are being used. Wand of Illusion, perfect timing for that. But a few of them get focused out real quickly. A lot of the damage bounces over to the peasants at this point. Sonik is at 39 supply. And his opponent is at 53. Needs to TP out though. Is about to lose way too much here. Rifleman is already about to go down. And he loses the Blood Mage and another Priest. Oh, couldn't have gone any worse for him at this point. Loses a huge amount of his army here and loses the Blood Mage plus a Priest just as he's jumping out. And of course, that means that the expansion is done for Sonik, and the entire play of the Nightelf player was focused to just buy himself enough time to really capitalize on that second income source. So once that the gold mine is done and the Wisps are joining the fun, he's going to have quite a bit of dispensable income at his disposable income, and will be able to make sure that he actually gets a huge army supply over the opponent. Which means there's a little bit of a timer. So he needs to start to move in and try and take this thing down right now, or is going to have a problem. It's still dangerous for Sonik though. This is a big army. I mean, we're talking 50 supply against 42, and of course with those riflemen and the focused fire that he can use, the Hunts won't really survive for long. There's 0 upgrades on them either. Mountain King has by now finally a little bit mana. That was one of the problems in the last fight, that he didn't have a lot of that. We're also looking at Ivory Towers in his inventory, and guys, I'm not quite sure if Sonik can hold this. Sonik is going to really have a tough deal with this. Hunts are not going to cut it against this army. I mean, just look at the setup. The Priests, first of all, they have a little bit of mana left. There's even more piercing damage coming in as the Forest Troll Berserker moves through. And I would say that Sonik is very likely going to be shit out of luck here. He needs to be super careful with this. We're also, I mean, again, if there's good focus fire at this point, those Hunts should just disappear within seconds. We're already seeing some of that. The first one is about to be taken down here. The Warden is going to be highly important in this fight. There's the level 3 of the Demon Hunter. That helps too. Mana Burn, of course, is a fantastic tool right now for him. Fan of Knives the entire time. The immediate focus onto the Blood Mage. He takes this one down. Hunts are falling one after another. Mountain King is on level 4, but he has 0 mana. The entire time a drain after drain comes from Sonic's second hero, and the army is just evaporating here. Sonik himself is on 35 supply, but we still have 50 for his opponent. But the human army isn't looking too great either. He still has enough left though, and there's pretty much no Hunt in play. This is the last one, and even that one could be focused within a moment, and then it's all down to the heroes. Sonik is losing a lot here, and by now we have 2 Arcane Towers, so they can also drain the army or the heroes on the other side. There's another attempt to take the Mountain King down with a Shadow Strike, gets that one in, but everything is red and dying. But same is also true for at least the Demon Hunter. There's a level 4 though, huge level up for him now, and the Warden on 5, and that is game. Sonik holding on to the game, has the expansion, doesn't lose it, brings it over the time. Clutch call right there, great attack from the blue team colored player, and that is game. Sonik advancing to the next round of the tournament.